Welcome to episode 3 of the Let's Talk Ball podcast. Today, we have Justin on the couch. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. March Madness started yesterday. We went to a restaurant, caught some games.
Some good games yesterday.
All right, let's keep on the topic of March Madness. If the NBA had a March Madness, we're going to cover the 4 teams that would be early upsets. So 2 from the West, 2 from the East. Do you have 2 Eastern Conference teams?
I have 2 East.
I have 2 Western, and then we're both going to pick our final 4 and a winner. We're going to jump straight into it. I guess before we get right into it, actually, who do you think's going to win the actual March Madness? Because you're a big college basketball guy. You are.
Yeah.
McNeese? You mess with McNeese?
I don't like McNeese at all. I like St. John's a lot just because of Rick Pitino. I think they'll go deep. I don't think they're gonna win it. I think it's gonna be Duke or Florida.
I got Florida.
I think Florida's
Florida?
gonna win.
All right, that's valid.
I also think Houston's got a good shot.
Okay. Well,
Houston.
yeah. So, okay. What about like a sleeper team, like besides a 1 seed? Low key, I think Wisconsin. They're a 3 seed. They play pretty well. They play pretty tough.
Yeah.
Michigan State, maybe? Michigan State, 2 seed?
Yeah, I do like Michigan State a lot too. It could go to anyone.
Yeah, I guess so. I think this year is pretty open. But let's go straight into if the NBA had a March Madness, how would it go? So you have 2 Eastern Conference teams. Give me one and why.
One is the Bucks.
The Bucks to be an early upset.
Yeah, I'm not sold. It all depends on how Damian Lillard's doing, if he shows up or not. I think Giannis is a great player, but I think they'd be an early upset.
Right. Do you think, you know a lot about college basketball, probably more than I do. You think, like, the coaching comes into it a lot, as, like, Doc Rivers doesn't really have a great reputation. Do you think, like, that'll come into play if they had a March Madness tournament? Because obviously, like, they play a playoff. In the NBA, the playoffs is a 7-game series. If they had a March Madness, it'd be a 1 game. So you'd think the coaching of Doc Rivers would come into play and kind of fuck the Bucks?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a lot different. The biggest difference from the NBA and college, I think, is how they run offense, bro. It's just all ISO ball in the NBA, so I think it would come down to that. Like, they actually would have to run sets to win. They can't just be off. You can't just win with Giannis.
Right.
Everyone needs to play.
Right, and I think that being a 1-game series, I think really good coaches will find ways to stop Giannis, especially if you just have 1 game to do it. Like, you saw Purdue last year get upset in the first round to a 16 seed because the coach knew how to stop Zach Edey.
Yeah.
And I think they'll find ways to stop Giannis, and if Dame doesn't show up, then they really have nobody else because Kyle Kuzma's been playing like a bench player. Like, he's been averaging like 8 points per game. But let's go on to another team in the Eastern Conference that you think would be an early upset that's been playing pretty good ball lately.
I think, although Detroit has been playing great and they're winning, I think still, just kind of like where I was with OKC, I think they're too young.
Too young.
And I think they're hotheads too over there. So I think maybe some guys would get suspended. Like,
that's valid. You don't think they'll be able to handle the pressure of like the 1-game series?
No, I think they'll crack. But I do think in a couple of years, like that Detroit team, if they get 1 more piece, maybe 2 more pieces, that team is going to be deadly.
Do you think? So we're talking about early upsets. So Detroit would probably play somebody like mid-tier, like the Heat. Do you think that the Heat? I think that in a 1-game series, I think the Heat could upset Detroit. So is that like you're saying, like maybe the Heat or the Hawks, somebody like that, could beat Detroit in a 1-game series?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, someone like the Heat with Bam.
Right.
But they've kind of been slacking too. I think they could lose too. But yeah, I do agree with that.
I'll go to another Western Conference team, in my opinion, that I think would be an early upset, and that's the Houston Rockets. Kind of the same philosophy you're bringing with the Detroit Pistons. I think they play very similar basketball, especially on the side where they're both really young, and they both have 1 or 2 veterans that, kind of carry that side of the load, where like every team needs a good veteran or 2 to step in maybe when there's a huge run on the opposite end, and come in and hit a big 3. Like Detroit has Malik Beasley, Houston has not only Jeff Green but Fred VanVleet as well. And I think they're too young. I don't think Jalen Green's going to be able to handle the pressure. I think that Alperen Sengun is the best player on that team, and I don't think he'll be able to handle the pressure either. And right now they're the 2 seed right now in the Western Conference currently, and I think they'll be able to be upset by the Warriors, a Lakers, even a healthy, I guess we really can't, put the Mavs in there, but a healthy Dallas Mavericks team. But it's tough to talk about them. Another team I think that would be upset early in the Western Conference is the Memphis Grizzlies. I think same philosophy. I think they're super young. I think even though they're getting older, like Jaren Jackson Jr., great defensive player. John Morant, great offensive player. Desmond Bane, he's all right. Besides that, they really don't have any like role players to step in. Like Sandy Aldama's been playing okay, and their coach is okay as well. But I think they would definitely be upset by the star power. I think in this tournament, Like if you have this tournament, like we name teams that, maybe the Bucks have star power, but outside of Giannis and Dame, they really don't have anybody else. And same with the Houston Rockets. Same with the Memphis Grizzlies. Besides Ja and Jaren, who aren't the biggest stars in the world, maybe all stars, yeah, but not like superstars, like top 10 players. It'll be really hard to win games, and especially in a tournament where you need to win 5 or 6 games to raise the trophy in a row, and you cannot lose. I'm definitely not taking the Memphis Grizzlies to go all the way. Talking about teams that would go all the way, give me 2 teams in the Western Conference that you think are staples in the Final Four.
Give me Denver.
Okay.
And OKC.
And why is that?
They're just at the top of the mountain right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think OKC is a great team. They got a bunch of weapons. They got defensive guys, offensive guys.
Right.
They got Holmgren. Like, they got a bunch of guys that can win one game. They can go out and win one game if they're all there.
Right. Which right now they are.
Yeah.
And I think defense will win you championships, especially if, I'm thinking just in the odds of just in the mindset of a March Madness tournament, just in the NBA's sense of a March Madness tournament in the NBA. So OKC, they definitely bring defense, but do you think that, you talked about Chet Holmgren's, J-Dubs, those kind of players, do you think they'd be able to step up if Shea has an off game of 20, 25 points, which is crazy as an off game for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
I think so. I think Holmgren could give you 20. J-Dub can score the ball too. I think if they had to and he was coming out slow in March Madness in a one game series, I think they could.
Yeah, and I think the camaraderie of that team might put them over the top, especially in a tournament like this.
Yeah, and then they'd win the game and they'd start barking into the mic.
You like that?
It's funny. It's all right.
How about Denver? What do you think puts Denver in that conversation? Obviously, they have Nikola Jokic, but...
Yeah, Denver's the same thing. I mean, they got a 2-time MVP. He's probably about...
3-time.
3-time?
Yeah, 3-time MVP. Or even 4. No, I think he's a 4-time MVP. Yeah, might as well give him 5, 6, 7. No, he's 4. He's 4. Yeah,
but he's he might even win it again if our boy doesn't take it in OKC. I think they got Michael Porter Jr.
Shot creator.
He can score.
You know how we feel about Michael Porter Jr.
Shoots everything.
Everything.
Then I'm watching Golden State versus Denver the other night. Westbrook looked like OKC Westbrook. He had 38 points or something, triple-double.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aaron Gordon
Jamal Murray.
He was prime.
Yeah, they have a great team, and I think your argument could literally be they have Nikola Jokic. I'm putting them in there. Yeah. So I think that having the supporting cast obviously helps, and that's shown in the actual NBA season. I'll go with my 2 Western Conference teams. I'm gonna go with star power. I'm gonna go with the Golden State Warriors because they've been on an absolute tear with Jimmy Butler. Now I know Steph got hurt yesterday. I'm not putting that into consideration. They've been on an absolute tear. 11-2 with Jimmy
on the court. 15-3. Come on.
15-3. My bad. And then I'm going to go to the Los Angeles Lakers saying LeBron James is healthy. Star power, I think, in these tournaments with good head coaches. I'm putting J.J. Redick in the conversation of a good head coach. I think, obviously, Steve Kerr, 10 times better than J.J. Redick, has the resume as well. But, J.J., for first year of the Lakers, they're flirting with that 2 seed. They're, between 5 and the 2 seed, there's like a 2-game, difference.
Yeah,
so
it's not a lot.
So I'm going to take LeBron James, and I'm going to take Steph Curry in the Western Conference to get to the Final Four. Now, in the Eastern Conference, I think there's 2 locks. I don't know your teams, but I have the Boston Celtics, obviously, if you didn't know. I'm a Celtics fan, but I'm not being a homer. Coming off an NBA championship, arguably the best starting 5 in basketball, arguably a top 5 coach in the league, arguably a top 5 player in the league. I don't know. I think that's pretty good odds. And another team I have is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think you need, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a staple. They have the most camaraderie in the NBA. They have probably the defensive player of the year on their team, even though Victor Wembanyama should get it.
I think it's Draymond Green.
You think so?
I saw
crazy.
Some stats.
You're
they
crazy.
Don't lie.
Nah,
I think it's Draymond.
Mobley's got it locked up. They have Donovan Mitchell, who's an absolute killer, especially in the fourth quarter, and that's what you need in a one-game series. You need a guy who is going to give you buckets, like a straight killer. Yep. They have that, and they have the pieces around him. They have DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland, Jared Allen. They have a great starting 5. The camaraderie is there. They have a great head coach, who Kenny Atkinson, former Golden State Warriors assistant coach. So what are your thoughts in the Eastern Conference? Are you on the same page here?
I got the same thing.
Yeah.
100% I agree with what you said with everything. I mean, Cleveland is nasty. They can score with ease.
It's crazy. And their defense is even better, I think, than their offense.
Yeah.
And their offense is top 5 in the league, and I think their defense is too, at least a couple weeks ago when we were going over a different podcast. But out of the East, who do you think would be the winner? Do you think the Cavs or the Celtics would advance to the championship? It's tough. I think you go either ways.
It can
one game.
Really depends.
One game at a neutral site.
I'm gonna give it to the Boston Celtics.
The Celtics, I like it. Is there like a certain reason? Obviously, you think it'd be a close game. Obviously,
I think Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis. Then you got Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday would kind of slow down Donovan Mitchell if they put him on.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think the Cavs and Celtics played 3 times I think this year, and each team hasn't been 100% healthy when they've played. But the thing that we do have, or the Celtics do have, is guards that defend above average. Now Donovan Mitchell has been a great defender this season. Obviously Darius Garland's undersized, but when you have players like Drew Holiday and Derek White that are above average defenders at the guard position, I'm not saying they're going to stop them. I'm saying they're going to be able to slow them down. That's why I'm going to take the Boston Celtics. If you picked the Cleveland Cavaliers, I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
I would completely understand, and especially down in the comments, let me know who you think would be able to get out of the East. In the West, I have the Golden State Warriors coming out of the West just because of the star power. I think the camaraderie, they know how to win together. Even though Jimmy's only been there for half a season, it seems like he's been there for 5 years.
Yeah.
The chemistry is there. Obviously, Draymond Green and Steph Curry are modern day. Might be a stretch. MJ and Pippen, their camaraderie, how they know how to play together.
They're on the same page all the time.
All the time. And Draymond knows how to get Steph the ball, and it looks like with ease. So I'm going to take the Warriors out of the West. Who do you have, OKC or Denver?
I'll go with OKC.
OKC?
Yeah.
Okay, so
give me something new here.
So you have OKC and the Boston Celtics in a 1-game series. I have the Warriors and the Boston Celtics in a 1-game series. And who do you have winning the NBA March Madness 2025?
The Celtics are going to raise the natty.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
And who's the Finals MVP?
Give it to Tatum.
The Anomaly?
Give it to the Anomaly.
Right. That's valid. I like that. I'm going to go with... This is tough. Now,
he doesn't want to jinx him now. Look,
the Warriors low-key own the Celtics. It's just been a thing. It's just been a thing. And the last person I want to see, because I'm thinking as this is a Game 7, right? Last person I want to see as a Celtics fan,
babyface assassin,
is Steph Curry with a look in his eyes, with a 3-point strap on his arm, with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry have just owned the Celtics. Well, not owned the Celtics, but Jimmy Butler's been our arch nemesis.
Nah, seriously, they really did get a Celtics killer.
Steph Curry, obviously 2022. I don't want to talk about it. So I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors raise it. I'm going to go with the Warriors. I genuinely think the camaraderie of that team, we talked about it. You need a killer in the fourth quarter. Jimmy Buckets, Steph Curry, anybody. Even Kuminga could come in there and do his thing a little bit. I think that the Celtics just don't. I'm not saying they don't have what it takes, but I think mentally, you look at Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, and you kind of take a breath, and you look at him like Jesus, the past. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna take the Warriors.
Yeah, I think experience is gonna go a long way, with one game.
Granted, both teams have won, and especially won in big games.
Yeah.
But obviously Steph's been there before. Yeah. I'm not saying he's been to obviously he played in the NCAA tournament, and that's why he was drafted. 7th overall, 8th overall, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to take the Warriors to win it. It's now time for a daily dabble. If you don't know what Dabble Fantasy is, it's the best DFS app out there. And when you use my code ALLTALKSPORTS, when you sign up for the first time, you'll get a free $25 with no deposit necessary. All right, Justin, we're going to make an entry together. You get one pick, I get one pick, and we're changing it up. We're going NCAA basketball because we're talking about March Madness. All right. We might as well stick with it. I'm going to go with VJ Edgecombe more than points. He plays today, I think at 12:15? I think he plays at 12:15. His line, I'm pretty sure, is 17.5. I'm going
16.
VJ 16?
16.5.
16.5. It went down last time I checked it. Going more than VJ Edgecombe points.
With my pick, I'm taking Con Kneppel more than. They got him at 16. And in the last 4, he's had 17, 17, 28.
So 17 is the magic number today. We both need 17.
I think this will clear.
All right, now we're going to put in the entry right now, and you can follow me down below on Dabble. It's pretty much like a social page. They have a For You page. You can see my picks. You see Justin picks, Thomas, Gary, anybody who you're following, you can see their picks. It's a generational, I've never seen any sports app like it, any DFS app like it. So just make sure to check it out today. Link in the description down below. You can play along, get the free $25, and use my code ALLTALKSPORTS, and it helps your brother out. Anything else you want to say?
Nothing. Celtics, baby.
Celtics
on top.
Celtics on top. Shout out Dabble. Shout out JB. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.